Everybody to the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for March the 10th, 2026. We're going to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Here.
Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Caesar is absent tonight. Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Present.
Alderman Brown.
Present.
Alderman Potts is absent. Vice Mayor Baggett.
Present.
And the mayor is here. We'll begin with an invocation. I'll ask Alderman Barnhill if he would lead that, and then I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'll join me in standing, and Alderman Barnhill.
Would you bow, please? Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer tonight, knowing that there are many things going on in this great country, and we ask that you be with the world leaders and all of the people that are involved in these decisions that are being made. We ask that you give them the spiritual wisdom and guidance that we request as we are aldermen here making decisions for the city of Franklin. We also ask we thank you for the blessings that we have, for the opportunity of the meetings that we're able to attend. We know that there are many countries, many nations where this type of assembly is not allowed. We also ask your blessings upon our first responders. We know that those are difficult times when they go into situations, difficult for the families. All these blessings we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number one is consideration of changes in the agenda and setting the agenda. I would look for a motion.
Mayor, I move to set the agenda as written.
Thank you. Is there a second by Alderman Berger? Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar is absent. Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts is absent. Vice Mayor Baggett.
No.
So it passes, what have we got? Let's see,
5-1.
5-1.
No. No, I don't want to.
Next is opportunity for citizens to make comments for items not on the agenda. I have two speaker cards. I'll call them up. They have 2 minutes each. Dwayne Park and Angela Park. You have 2 minutes each.
Hi there, I'm Angela Park. I live in Cross Creek, and behind us is the Coletta Park build. And our property, our backyard is right up against, meaning to the east, and Coletta Park would be behind us. The main representative that I've spoken to, his name is Clay Lane. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him, but he's mainly been the person that I've spoken to. We were told as homeowners that there is to be a black silt fencing. It's actually landscape fabric that they put down, and that would indicate our property line. And then there would be 80 feet of tree preservation, and those would be the original trees that were still on the property. And then there would be an orange silt fencing that would represent the actual property line of the new homeowner for Coletta Park, where the fence would be built. My husband and I noticed they were throwing wood planks in what I call our backyard. And then this morning we woke up, and right now I have photos. They built an entire fence already, only on our property, not the others. They all have posts, but ours is was completely done today. And it's on the black fabric, which represented our property line. And so Mr. Lane went on and on about how you're going to have the privacy, you'll see the trees that you're used to seeing, we're not going to let them take down those trees, you have 80 feet. And so we thought, well, this is terrible that we've lost Old Adams Farm, but we love the fact that we're going to have at least 80 feet between what we call our property line and way up at the orange silt fencing. Today, I took a few pictures just right before I came. Here's some of the fencing that they just built. They took down one of my trees, and they were only supposed to take down one tree. I have all photographs of those. But here's what they decided to do today on this fence that's on my side of the property. So I've taken close-ups. They've done this with a number of the trees that were on the property. Here's another tree. and they've decided to leave many inches between the ground and the fence just to, I guess, maybe meet their line. It didn't really look like there was, I don't know if you can see that one. Here's another thing that they did with areas of fencing. Sorry. They just decided to build the fence around whatever tree was there. And this is what I get to see. They also did things like this. They decided to just leave some broken pieces of wood and just make that be part of the fence. And here's another long shot from my backyard with that new fence. One tree that was on my property that they decided, that I showed you the close-up of earlier. So my concern is that I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I'm representing all of the homeowners of Cross Creek, but I know that many of them that line up against this east property, every one of them believed that that black silt fencing was our property line, and we believed that that 80 feet of preservation was for us to have the privacy that we're used to, having Old Adams Farm there for hundreds of years, and that orange silt fencing was to be the fence of the new owner that he also went to tell me, meaning Clay Lane.
If you'll finish up, please, ma'am.
Okay,
And is
Clay
Mr.
Lane
Park
did
gonna
tell me
speak
that
tonight? Is
that
Mr.
owner. So I'll take his minute and a half. So our
didn't
biggest
give it to
concern
you,
is every
but-
single person, always take everything of his.
So
we really-
staff is listening to you. If you'll leave those pictures with
Sure.
Casey for the record, for
Casey.
your comments. And
Okay.
staff has been listening to your comments and will,
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate all your help.
next, we're going to go to any communications from the Williamson County Commission. I have none. We'll go to approval of the minutes from the work session for February 24th, 2026, and the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting of the same date. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts is absent. Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
And passes unanimously. Miscellaneous reports. I'm going to start the miscellaneous reports because I have good news for Ward Alderman. You have been officially elected, and here's your certificate that you were actually elected.
Thank you.
It's been a time coming.
You have to accept it. Sorry.
It's been a time coming.
This certifies it. Alderman Potts is not here, so these are fine certificates. Alderman Brown,
Thank you, Mayor.
congratulations. And this has got to be Alderman Berger. Yes? So it's good news whenever they get those certificates out, that it's a little more than official. Okay, any other miscellaneous reports?
Mr. Mayor, I want to give
Go
you
ahead,
all,
Mr.
if you ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Go ahead.
want to make sure I was recognized. Want to continue our update in terms of brush collection, what we've been doing, give you a little more information. Our team's been working diligently. Our normal residential collection is Monday through Thursday, 10 hours each day. We've added to that Friday and Saturday in terms of additional brush collection. So we've increased by 50% the amount of work that's going into that collection. Just to give you a sense of the volume we have dealt with. In the 5+ weeks since Winter Storm Fern came through, our collection amount is roughly 60% of what we collect in a full year in just over 5 weeks. So that gives you a sense of the capacity and the work that's been going on. We're making headway. Some of our largest neighborhoods have been caught up, and that would include West Haven, McKays Mill, Fieldstone. Several others got completed, especially today and on Monday. And those collection efforts will continue. We're posting on social media every day or two now, specifically the neighborhoods that we're able to address. We're trying to stay generally with the residential collection days in those routes, but we're also putting everything in a neighborhood and in a route and trying to knock it out, at that time as best we can. So, and we've largely caught up on the Tuesday routes, so that gives us a little more capacity to use how we use Tuesdays going forward. So I can't give you an exact date that will be done. We've made a lot of progress. I don't know if Nate is comfortable doing that yet, because we get in a neighborhood and the volume can just be significantly more than anticipated, so it takes us longer
Yes.
than we may have originally thought. But we are working very hard. We appreciate the patience of our residents as we work through it. You're going to see regular, continual updates about where we're working and the progress being made. So, Nate, anything you want to add?
Yes, just a good evening, everyone. Just to give you some numbers, the count as of right now, we're looking at over 500. Well, we're looking at 578 loads, knuckle boom loads in. We're looking at over 1,800 tons of brush in 5 weeks. In a year, we collect 2,800 tons. So outbound, we're looking at 1,400 tons out. And then we're also looking at a current stockpile of 400 tons that need to either be ground up or processed through our air curtain burner. Our usual average is 53 tons a week. We're averaging now, updated numbers is 313 tons a week that we're bringing in of brush. And then that's a daily average of, we're looking at a little over 3 tons per load that we're bringing in. We would like to thank the citizens for their patience as we navigate this. A lot of times they say, how do you eat an elephant? This is how you eat an elephant, just one bite at a time. And we keep plugging and we keep going. And the men and women of SES, we got a good group of guys there. We're throwing everything we can at it. You're looking at 6 days a week that they're going at it. I was talking to my assistant director, Wayne Sullivan, today, and I was like, we're going to have to come in and give up a Saturday. I said, man, you're going to have to get in the truck, and we're going to run so we can help these guys out. So if they're a truck short, you may see us out there in the truck, operating the truck also, just to let these guys know that they're not alone. But we're going to get to the end of it. I would say if we can get to mid-April or end of April, we're going to be looking good, because there's a lot of places that we went through for the first initial pass that we've gotten completed. But there's still some areas we haven't touched yet, and we're still trying to get into those areas. We changed the way we did it for the past 2 weeks. We're throwing knuckle booms at one neighborhood at a time, and we're moving quicker, and we're seeing a significant impact on what we're trying to do in completing this project.
Thank you, Nate.
Alderman Brown, you wanted to make a comment?
Nate, first of all, you and the team doing
Awesome. Logistical question. I noticed after you guys come through, obviously there's piles left, like leaves and small stuff, whatever. What's the guidance we're supposed to give? Should they bag that? Are you bringing the street sweeper through? Are you going to come back with the leaf back? Like what's the follow-up after you clear?
Definitely, if they can rake it up, if they can bag it and put it in brown bags, because we can get it then. And if not, they can rake it back up and we'll be back through to pick it up with the knuckle booms. But if it's small enough to go into the brown bags, go ahead and do it that way, and we can collect it that way also.
And once we do collect, we will send street sweepers through. We try to
Yes, sir.
align those, but that won't get everything either. So I think whatever folks can do, we'll appreciate.
Vice Mayor, you're recognized, then I'll get Alderman Berger.
I think the main, appreciate you, first of all, and the team, because this is, a huge, I told many residents this week, which I feel like this week is when they've just started to reach out, and I think we've got a really gracious community in Franklin who is supportive of staff and understands, but this was a national emergency as declared by the president, a state emergency. I mean, this checked all the emergency disaster boxes.
Yes, sir.
So while, life is much back to normal now, we need to still acknowledge as a community that this was a major event. And so this is something that if you can continue to communicate, setting expectations is key. I don't think, and communications is beginning to do that. The lack of knowledge in the community, or just not hearing, is just as detrimental as it taking till the end of May.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you know, if it's going to be the end of, I think setting
It's not gonna be the end
expectations.
of May.
Well, and this is what I want us to say is like it was, you know, setting expectations is and meeting them, even if they're longer expectations, is I think going to go over well the community.
Yes, sir.
Quickness is not is important, but I think it's just level setting the expectations so we don't end up you know in a different situation. But thank you, great job, and thank you for communications team regularly like you'll be doing.
Alderman Berger.
Thanks, Nate. It is a huge job. I thought your 6 weeks was way too aggressive, but so the HOAs have called me and the people that have gotten hold of me, and I told them it'll be gone by May.
Yes.
So I just extended it out because I thought,
And it's kind of funny.
That
We've
was
been in
a-
communication with McKay's Mills and everything. Today, I actually sent out an email because they had some questions about some brush in there. We did
Oh, yeah.
focus on the residents, and what they're seeing now in McKay's Mills is the common areas. So we were trying to make sure we got the residents out of the way first, and then come back to focus on the common
well,
areas.
I drove it yesterday and I saw about 8 streets today, and there's everything's still there. So when you said McKay's Mill, I went, wait a minute, I don't think so, because it could have been some of the residential streets up on the east side,
Yes, ma'am.
in the back, but Liberty Pike, Oxford Glen, the villages of Longmont and Hudson, all those, they're all still
Yeah,
where
those
they
are
were.
the ones that we were discussing.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
they're all still out there. I mean, there's, and Town Park, I don't know if Town Park's in, but we done the road up there too. So, yeah, it's a major event. It's gonna take a long time, and I don't think you need to push yourself. The guys need to they're doing a great job, but at the same time, it's gonna take time, and I just hate for you to push, just because you wanna get it done for everybody. And you're right, people are gracious, so they've been really good about it.
Thank you guys for your patience.
Yeah, doing great.
Alderman Peterson.
We were talking about seeing some places where, you know, the trucks came in and got a lot of the material, but the entire neighborhood wasn't finished. And so we just wanted to say there are a lot of people who really, really have appreciated what you've done. But then we've had some people that said, oh, you know, my next door neighbor got theirs taken care of, but we didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Anybody
we're
else?
working to get those completed, and that's what the focus and then that we've enhanced in the last week or so is to make sure we drive those through to completion instead of just doing more partials.
Correct.
Get more complete and put all the resources in a neighborhood and knock it out as opposed to doing multiple neighborhoods but only part of it. So this is a change in the way we're deploying the resources.
And it's actually had a very positive impact on the neighborhoods that we are able to complete. And then how we roll back, when we roll back into them with everybody again, we've seen that when we're coming out of there, they're complete fully. So it's been a good change that we made that change.
Thank you so much. Tell your team thank you, and Board Mayor and Alderman, let's give the team a hand. Okay, the consent, are there any other miscellaneous reports? Seeing none, we'll go to consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature of the governing body. They will be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. We're looking at items number 9 through 14. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill.
Second.
Second, Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
No.
Passes 5-1. Next is, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2025-107, a resolution amending the Gateway Village PUD subdivision to extend the vested rights to the property located south of Linwood Way and west of Franklin Road, located at 120 Davenport Boulevard. Chelsea?
Yes, thank you. Good evening. The request is to extend the vesting period for 24 months, April 10th, 2026 until April 10th, 2028, to allow the applicant to secure any necessary permits and commence site preparation. This revised development plan for Gateway Village PUD was approved by BOMA on October 11th, 2021. The plan does include 6.75 dwelling units per acre and 144,258 square feet of non-residential space for a site that is composed of 60.5 acres. The revision was specifically submitted to request the addition of 6 residential units to their last remaining mixed-use building, and staff recommended approval with conditions of the overall development plan. BOMA did approve the development plan by a vote of 8-0. The current status is that a previous 3-year extension was granted by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in October of 2024. The applicant submitted a site plan for lot 134, but has not yet pulled any permits for this site. The vesting impacts, if the vesting period is not extended, the project entitlements would cease to exist, stop work orders would be issued if applicable, and a new development plan would need to be approved and would be reviewed against the current local development standards. In reviewing the plan against the current city regulations, the current plan generally complies. The differences in today's zoning ordinance versus their vested ordinance of 12/8/2020 are minor and could be incorporated into the design without major changes to the plan. A new parkland agreement would need to be approved for any new plan, and a new and updated traffic study would be required should the project lose its vesting. The Franklin Municipal Planning Commission, by a 7-0 vote, along with staff, recommends that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve Resolution 2025-107 should they determine that the continuation of vested rights is in the best interest of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Does anyone want to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to.
I'm Jim Lukens, the engineer for the applicant or the owner, and I'm just here if you have questions.
Okay, thank you. Going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr.
Alderman Barnhill.
I would like to have Chelsea come back up. Can you?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's me. Yes.
Can
A
you?
lot of confusion there tonight.
A little bit. You said, I think, that if the vesting was not approved, that they'd have to go back through the permit process, but that it would be fairly, I guess, easy to go back through because it would be very little change to what they got versus what the new ordinances and the new regulations are. Is that a fair statement?
So in terms of matching the plan that they currently have to what the zoning ordinance says today, it would be fairly easy. But the process itself would still be the same process. They would have to go all the way back to pre-application. They would have to submit a development plan and rezoning, and they would have to go through the review process, back to Planning Commission, and then back to 3 readings with you guys.
So when did Gateway Village start?
You're really testing me.
25 years ago?
I'm not sure the exact date, and about 20 years ago.
20 years ago?
It was 2006.
2006, says Alderman
Says
Berger.
our-
I'm so sorry. I am filling in for Joey this evening,
Okay.
so you're really testing my knowledge.
So I was curious,
Sure.
because we come in, we give the vested, we extend it, we come back 2 years later, we are asked to extend it again, and they've been out there, I guess, building on something other for 20 years. It really seems longer than that. But I don't guess there's any I don't guess it does any harm to the community to have a vesting extended. It's just it would be nice if you were going to do something other and build for this, you go ahead and get through with it. And I do think at one time they did pave the parking lot, and the parking lot.
No,
That's not Gateway?
cleaned it up, but
Oh, that's not Gateway. They didn't do a few years ago. They surfaced the parking lot and it rained and washed it off into Jackson Lake.
Different one.
Huh?
maybe they put rock down.
Do what now?
They put rock down,
Yeah.
Okay.
but not paved.
I think they resurfaced the paving.
His office is right there, I promise you.
Okay. All right. But that's, I mean, that was my questions as to why we would get vesting and keep going on and on and on and on. So, I've asked enough questions and probably wasted enough time.
Alderman Berger.
Yeah, that place has been empty forever. I'd like to see something happen there and soon, because I think we're all tired of seeing a gravel parking lot. It's a nice area. Got some great businesses over there, and every time you drive in, it's a gravel lot. So it's not easy to go back through. It's time is money, and I do appreciate that for people, because you're the risk takers and your time is money. So I wouldn't want to see them have to go back through the whole process, but I would like to see this happen. And I just had one question. So if they did go back through, you said it was just minor changes that would meet the requirements? For
Yes, ma'am. There would just be some changes, any changes that occurred between 2020 and today, which are pretty minor in nature.
For that area?
For our zoning ordinance overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no deviation from height, is there?
I don't believe so.
No? Okay. All right, good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem.
Alderman Peterson.
Isn't this just a very relatively small part of the entire development that's not been done yet?
I'm gonna let Emily speak to that.
Yes, this is just one remaining lot that's surrounded already by existing development. So even if it did come back through the process, we would review it under the current regulations, but deviating from the plan they already have would not make sense, given that the streets are already constructed and that this is already a lot surrounded by existing development. There's really only one way to build out this site that matches the rest of the development. So we would recommend that if they didn't meet a standard, that they'd likely need to get a modification of standards at that point, and that just kind of elongates the process even more. So in this situation, it makes a lot of sense to continue to extend the vested rights.
So what's the magic of 2 years? Why didn't they ask for 4 2 years ago?
I would have to ask the applicant that question. I'm not sure.
Any
Well, I
other?
think that's the kind of the question that was asked in other words. We have this vesting coming up, and they ask 2 years, and nothing happens. 2 years, wait for another 2 years. I would expect to see the project finished at some point in time, and vesting is not needed then. And because I can tell you, there is a desire to see that finished.
You can only request a maximum of 3 years extension on vesting. So that's part of the answer to your question.
So 3 is the max.
3 is the max.
Okay.
Any other comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 5, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2025-110, a resolution to initiate a study at the request of the property owner for a plan of services for a potential future annexation of 18.71 acres located north of Clovercroft Road and east of Oxford Glen Drive, including 4086 Clovercroft Road and 4092 Clovercroft Road.
Hi. again. This property is being considered for annexation initiation. This is adjacent to planned districts with single-family residential uses. This property is contiguous to the city limits and within the city's urban growth boundary. The property is within the mixed residential design concept as defined by Envision Franklin Land Use Plan. Mixed residential design concept states that the defined character across this design concept may vary by neighborhood, but new development should transition from existing development patterns in adjacent neighborhoods. In addition, the design concept states that new neighborhoods should have walkable, well-connected streets that connect to the surrounding neighborhoods and nearby destinations. It is the intent of the applicant to develop single-family homes, but no formal plan has been submitted for staff to review. A draft plan of service is included as an attachment. The plan of service does outline how the city will serve the properties requesting annexation and any additional infrastructure that would be required for new development. This property is in the Watson Branch Drainage Basin and was identified as a short-term capability area in the city's annexation analysis. The properties lie within the Millcrofton Utility District and would need to follow their guidance on extending water infrastructure. The proposed development is adjacent to the existing city of Franklin limits. Navarra subdivision lies west of the subject property, and if the Navarra development moves forward and extends sanitary sewer, the applicant's sanitary sewer extension requirements may be decreased. The sanitary sewer must extend across the subject property for future sewer continuation. The property includes future roadways listed on the major thoroughfare plan, including Clovercroft Road. Staff recommends that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve Resolution 2025-110. Thank you.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I have two speaker cards. Matt Huff, followed by Mike Burton. 2 minutes each, please.
Good evening, Board. My name is Matt Huff with Gamble Design Collaborative, and I'm here tonight with Mike Burton from Landmark Investments. The intended development, if annexation initiation is approved this evening, would include a community of approximately 40 single-family homes, along with 3 additional single-family lots for the DeBoer family, whose annexation initiation you approved late last year. The home sites would average nearly a quarter acre each, with purposeful streetline streetscapes, well-planned open spaces, and homes of over 3,500 square feet designed with Franklin-inspired architecture and quality materials. The adjacent community, Navarro, which is currently under development, has only a single point of access, ingress and egress. With our proposal, the road network would be expanded and interconnected, providing both communities with multiple points of ingress and egress. Our team also understands that there are traffic concerns in the area regarding county versus city-owned portions of Clovercroft Road, Oxford Glen, the roundabout, and Liberty Pike, and traffic volumes in the area. Some of those issues have been a part of the discussion around this corridor for a while some are more recent. Our team also, voting for annexation initiation tonight would allow the next step in this process, which is preparation of the plan of services. That plan does not commit the board to formal annexation, but it does give the development team the opportunity to work with staff and provide information that you need to evaluate potential solutions in the area. As Greg mentioned at the work session, Landmark has already initiated a transportation study, although it's not required for a proposal with this number of homes. Annexation initiation is still early in the process, and we won't have all the answers tonight, but we want to demonstrate that we are proactively coming to the table to discuss concerns and work toward meaningful solutions. In front of you tonight are 2 handouts. The first shows the 4 properties included in the request this evening, along with the DeBoer property. And staff shared with us that conversations stalled with the family when they realized the complexity of the city's requirements involved in subdividing their property into 3 parcels for their family members. As you all know, the city's development process can be a lot for individual property owners to navigate. The DeBoer family are longtime Franklin residents, a mother and 2 children who would like to live together on their property. And after discussions with them, Landmark and the DeBoers have agreed to work together to include this property as part of the same annexation and planning effort so that everything can be considered and planned cohesively. The second handout is a list of currently approved developments within Ward 1 and their associated collector road impact fees. As you'll see, these developments will generate approximately $9.7 million in collector road impact fees. Additionally, roughly $750,000 of those funds have already been collected and are available for allocation today. We believe there's an opportunity to look strategically at how these funds could be directed for the board's consideration and ultimate decision, particularly as additional developments move forward and additional impact fees are collected over the next several years. Our goal is to work with staff to evaluate how those resources might support improvement to the collector road network in this part of the city. While our development would represent a relatively small impact, less than 50 units, our goal is to be a partner in identifying solutions and doing our part to support these efforts. With approval of this annexation initiation request tonight, we can continue down that path, further our conversation with engineering staff, and bring forward those ideas with a formal annexation and development plan submittal. Thank you.
Mr. Burton? And since you're the applicant, I've given you a little bit more time than normal.
Thank you. I'll try to stick to the 2 minutes. Good evening, Board, Mayor, Vice Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight on this annexation initiation. My name is Mike Burton. I'm with Landmark Investments. City of Franklin is a very special place where people earn to live because of so many great attributes. One of those great attributes is the high quality of infrastructure that you guys focus on. This board and staff does an amazing job planning ahead and implementing impactful capital projects that benefit the citizens that live here, and frankly, the 75,000 or so commuters that work and play here. Ward 1 is growing, no doubt. There are important challenges to confront, and we have listened and we have heard your concerns. The message I would like to share this evening with you is our intention is to be good friends with and to the City of Franklin. We aren't just saying that. We have chosen to show it with our actions. We have started coordinating with your engineering teams. Our engineers are busy collecting data and studying transportation patterns in the area of the project, with an emphasis focusing on peak hour demands, total trips, the effects of ongoing construction projects, and also safety. This data collection and the subsequent analysis will help guide the plan of services and aforementioned strategic plan. It's also been noted that we are only proposing a small development and that all of the existing problems cannot be addressed by this one project. But we can help in ways that will add value and benefit the city and its residents. Our team is coming to work every day with a can-do attitude, our sleeves rolled up, and our thinking and doing hats on. The vote before you tonight, if approved, will allow us to continue to do the critically important work that gets us plans that can be implemented and ultimately positive outcomes and results for the citizens. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing, entertain a motion for approval. Thank you, Alderman Berger. Second by Alderman Barnhill. Any further discussion? Alderman Berger.
Okay. Been meeting with Gamble Design and Mr. Burton. And I told you up front too, and I want to say that our infrastructure issues should not be placed on one developer. But he's the first one over there who said, how can I help? How can we solve these problems? So we've been looking at this a long time, it seems to me, but I'm not committing to annexation right now, but I am committing to start the process because I would love to get this plan of services because they're willing to help work with us on this. Gamble Design's working with us. They're doing a traffic study they were not required to do, I asked for. And we have a roundabout at Liberty Pike and Oxford Glen that needs to have we need to solve some problems there. We need to work on Clovercroft. We already have turn lanes being put in for Navarra to widen that intersection down there. We've got to work. We're going to have some new leadership coming in the county, and I think I've already been talking to some of the people and seeing how we can work together to address Clovercroft. But I really want us to have this information. The plan of services is going to give us a lot of good information, along with some studies that they're doing at the roundabout for us, and some other ideas that I'm trying to bring to the table. So I'm going to support the initial annexation process so we can do the plan of services and come back and give us some good information. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Question for staff. The mixed residential, is it require housing to front Clovercroft?
So it would not require necessarily it to front Clovercroft unless they plan on having lots on Clovercroft. So we haven't seen any plans, so I can't really tell you exactly what they're hoping to do.
Novara, would that have been a similar design concept, mixed
Yes.
residential?
Yes, sir.
So I like how I always vote for initiating annexation plans of services because I think property owners should have the ability to take that next step. But I just think that Navarre did a good job with setting back behind a tree line. I think this sector of Clovercroft has some kind of distinguishing setbacks. So I would just make that comment that is something I'll be looking at. But other than that, I think it is a natural kind of progression here. But it'd be kind of odd to have housing come straight up onto Clovercroft with the kind of setbacks you see around it. But those are my comments. Thank you.
Anybody else? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peters.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 6. This is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2025-105, resolution adopting a plan of services for the annexation of property located south of Hillview Lane, west of Columbia Pike for the city of Franklin.
Good evening. I'm also filling in for Joey tonight. So this property includes one parcel and lies within the Southwest 1 drainage basin as defined by the City of Franklin Sanitary Sewer Basin Study. This basin is identified as a long-term annexation capability primarily due to some needed sewer improvements and the overall existing road network in the area. The property does not have sewer currently available to service the property, so if the property is annexed, sanitary sewer service will not be provided until the property owner constructs the sewer in accordance with the Franklin water management requirements, as we do standard with the majority of our annexations. Water availability will be provided by HB&TS, and the draft plan of services details no major concerns in providing infrastructure from a capacity standpoint and providing services like fire, police protection, and sanitation to the property. Staff recommends approval, and the Planning Commission recommended approval of this resolution by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I do have one speaker card, Matt Huff, who is the applicant.
Hi, Matt Huff with Gamble Design Collaborative, just representing the owner here tonight. Here to answer questions if you got any. Thank you.
And I have no other speaker cards on that. Is that correct? So, okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Vice Mayor.
I will just say that I think I said this last time, and I think very good people can disagree on this, but the 3 things we need to look at are the property owner's annexation request, it's in the urban growth boundary, and does this serve a public interest? And for me, I look at this as the Ingram's front yard and the backyard, and he may have a side yard or a other side yard that he's not asking to be annexed, and that's not something I can really take into account. But I think that's what I look at this as. This is the back part of his property. He wants it all. He wants the major portions of his acreage in the city limits, and so I'll approve it. But Yeah, that's what I see on this, and those are the three things that we can legally use to determine an annexation request.
Anybody else? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item number 7. This is a public hearing consideration resolution 2025-106, a resolution to annex one property consisting of 79.89 acres located south of Hillview Lane, west of Columbia Pike, and adjoining the city limits within the southern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary. Emily?
This is the item to annex the property just described in the previous item for the plan of services. This particular property is within the development reserve design concept as defined by Envision Franklin. So should development come in the future, the applicant would have to request an amendment to Envision Franklin first before any rezonings could be requested. The property in question is also adjacent to land within the city limits. It's owned by the same property owner. Staff recommends approval of this annexation, and the Planning Commission recommends approval by a vote of 7-0.
Does anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Second by the Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We now go to item number 8. This is a public hearing consideration ordinance 2025-53 is amended. An ordinance to zone 79.89 acre agricultural district and Hillside Hillcrest Overlay District for the property located south of Hillview Lane, west of Columbia Pike. Emily?
This is the zoning or the ordinance to zone for the property discussed in the last two items. This would be a rezoning to agricultural from its existing county zoning. The existing property in the city limits by the same property owners that currently zoned as state residential, but this request has been for agricultural zoning. There was also an amendment made at the Planning Commission meeting on January 22nd to revise the HHO district boundary to match the revised conservation line as shown in Envision Franklin. Staff realized prior to the Planning Commission meeting that what the map attached to the ordinance showed did not include the full extent of the conservation area. So we worked with the applicant and then recommended to the Planning Commission that that be amended on the floor. So this ordinance before you already has that amendment included in it, and those full limits of the conservation area are depicted on this map. Staff recommends approval, and Planning Commission recommends approval by a vote of 7-0.
Does anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none, you ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Is there any other business to come before this body? If not, I will entertain your favorite motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Alderman Blanton. Second by Alderman Berger. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.